Hello all, welcome to my channel. Let's continue with the C Sharp interview series. We started with OOPS concepts in our previous class, so today we will be continuing with OOPS concepts only. So today we will be looking into constructors properties, if possible constants and events also. So if anybody is coming to my channel for the first time, please subscribe and do check out my previous videos as well. If you like or if you have any doubts, please do mention it in the comment section. So please like and subscribe guys, it would encourage me to do more videos like this. Okay, so let's start with constructors. So basically constructors are methods only. So how a constructor looks is, so this is the syntax of a constructor. So it will have a modifier, access modifier. It can be either public or private. For now I gave it as a public, and we give no return type, and we give name of the constructor as class name only, so it should be same. And here parameters, you can either give any of the parameters that match with the fields, or you if you don't give any parameters also, it's fine. So here generally we use a constructor to initialize the fields in a class. So whenever we create object using new keyword, here if you see I created teacher t2, and whenever you use new keyword, then constructor is called. So if I don't give any parameters here, then a parameterless constructor will be called. So I can give as many constructors as I needed with different, I can overload with different parameters. So basically constructor is used to initialize values, I said. So now if I give here 2, then this constructor will be called and it will assign this value 2 to this id. So now if I try to print console.id, okay, so if you see here 2 is printed. So this is called constructor. So whenever we create an object using new keyword, then constructor is called. So and if I give one more field, and let me create one more constructor, and I want to initialize both the fields now. Let me create one more teacher. Now I will be calling so let me use string interpolation. t3 dot name. So now if you see, so it is printed, right? So basically constructor is a simple method with the name as class name, and it will be called whenever an object is created using new keyword. So based on the provide values you give here, the constructor is called, and this is called parameterless constructor. So from this parameterless constructor, if you wanted to call any of this constructor, so now if I wanted to call, so I can use this keyword. What this will do is, if I use this keyword, then it will call this constructor with parameter 0. So if I give this and some default string, so then it will call this constructor from this parameterless constructor. So basically this keyword is used within the class to call constructors with any of the parameters, so you can use it from anywhere. So if I wanted to call, so this is called this is the use of this keyword. So if I wanted to call base class constructor also, I can do here. Then I have to use a keyword called base. So base class constructor keyword comes into picture when you inherit. So I have told you in previous class. So if I create a class called person, let me create a class called person, and I am creating a default parameterless person constructor. Okay, so now I can use here base. If I call here, I have to inherit person, and if I call base, so then person constructor will be called. What it does is, whenever I create a new object, first constructor will be called. Here I gave base, so it will then move the controller from this from this constructor to parent class constructor. So once all the lines here, all the statements in the constructor is executed, here it comes back and it executes this constructor. So we can call base, for example here if I create, now here only one field is there, and we are initializing that field here. Here we are initializing, so we can call base here. So as I said, whenever we inherit, all these properties will be as, given to teacher as well. Teacher will be having person id as well. So here we are initializing id and name in this constructor, so we have to initialize person id also, right? So for that we can call base constructor here with person id. So we have to call person id also here, and we can pass this person id to the base class constructor, so here it gets initialized. So this is about constructors, and these are called instance constructors, because here this constructor will be called whenever an object is created, and basically the main purpose of this constructor is to initialize instance level fields or instance level members inside this constructor. So this is called instance constructor. Okay, now we have seen instance constructor. Now we will be looking into the static constructor. So basically static constructors are used to initialize static variables or static fields. Here I declared a static field college name. So now I'll initialize a static constructor. Basically static constructors are parameterless, and as I said here, this static fields are class level. So all the objects in created using this class will have the same value, so there's no need to pass parameter here. So here every object will have the same value college name as mkr for all the objects. So this is about a static constructor, and a static constructor will be called when the class is loaded, like even before our instance constructor is called, static constructor will be called first. And Next is private constructor. If you wanted, for example, in this class, if there is only static fields, for example, if I comment this out, if we have only static field, then there is no point of creating constructors, or there is no point of creating objects, right? So in that case we can use along with static constructor, we can create an empty parameterless private constructor. So let me comment this out. Okay, so an empty parameterless private constructor. So what does this do is, it will not allow us to create objects. So if I create objects, see, it gives me error. So let me remove this parameter only. Still, if you see, is inaccessible due to its protection level. So we cannot create an object now for this class. So you can restrict creation of object for a class using a private constructor. So making a constructor private will not allow you to create object for that class. And then next is copy constructor. So basically copy constructors take an object only as input, and it will create a new object. So here in all the constructors we are passing this variables as input, and from these variables we are creating the object. Now let me show you copy constructor. Okay, here I created this object new teacher, and I will pass this object only as parameter. And let me create a constructor which takes object teacher object as parameter. So now if you see, same values that teacher T2 has is copied to the object T3 whenever I called this, when I create object this way. So this is called copy constructor. Basically values from one object is copied to the another object using a constructor. So we have seen instance constructors, static constructors, private constructors, and copy constructor. So this is about constructors in OOPS concept. So now we will look into the properties. So our next concept is properties. So the next member of the class is properties. So basically properties are actually, these are called properties. So basically properties are used to get and set the values of the fields. For example, let me remove this here, and we have for example, if we mark this fields as private, so now I'm marking this is called backing field. So I'm just giving underscore id underscore name. So here I marked these two fields as private. So now this private means these fields are accessible only within this class. Now if I wanted to access these fields, I needed some proper mechanism. So we use properties for that. So properties are nothing but these are accessors, special kind of accessors, and we had get accessor, set accessor, and init accessor. Get is used to get the value of the fields, and set is used to set the value of the fields, and init is also used to set the values. Like you can initialize the field only for once using init, later you cannot modify using init. So now I had two private backing fields. So now let me create properties for these fields. Now int id, So this accessors will be public. So basically we made our backing fields as private, so to access this fields we needed a public property. So inside this property we can generate we can have we can see, if you see here, this property or indexer must have at least one accessor. So inside this property we have to define the accessors, and as I said, there are three possible accessors: get, set and init. So let us define each of it. Now let me, so get will just return, as I said, it is used to return value. So get will return value, and set will set the value. So this is the property that I was talking about. So I created this property for id. So now I'll create this property for name as well. So here return type is string. Yes, okay. So this is called the property. So basically earlier also we gave this accessor only, but earlier how was our implementation? If you see earlier, if you see here person, what did I do? Public int person id, and here I gave property, and this is called auto implemented property. So basically this is generally the standard get is nothing but it is returning value, and set is nothing but it is setting the value. If you see here, common notation is there. So for this is the shortcut for this common notation. So here there is no need to use any intermediate field, private field like this. We can directly give it in one line. So till now we are using the short format of this. So if you see, this is called backing field. So basically this two clubbed together is the short form of this. Let me, how the short form looks is, okay. So this is the short form for this too. Basically, for you to understand clearly, I have showed you along with the backing field as well. So this value is the default keyword used inside set accessor. So init accessor is also there. If you use init, you will be able to initialize the value only once inside initializer or in the constructor. So this is about properties. So you can have auto implemented properties, and which I showed you, the shortcut format is called as auto implemented properties. And you can even have any access modifier for this. So based on your requirement you can give protected as well. If you don't want to use it at all, you can give private as well. So this is the about properties. And then for interfaces, for example, if I create an interface here, in interface also I can declare access properties, but here properties doesn't mean auto implementation like previously. Here in this case, get set means we are just telling this this field is either if I give only get, that is you can only read the value. If I give set also, you can both read and set the value. So any class that implements this interface, no, it has to give its own implementation for this field. So if you see, implemented does not implement interface member employee dot name. So this is not actually the shortcut implementation form in case of interfaces. You have to give your own implementation here inside the implemented class. So basically this is the standard format. So along with this you can perform any kind of validation also inside set. For example, if you cannot assign if you wanted to assign values only greater than 0, then only you can assign, or else if you wanted to assign any default value. So this kind of validations also can be done inside set accessor. Get accessor also you can perform if you wanted to append, if you wanted to send any, for example you wanted to add 1000 to every id and then send, that also can be done. So basically properties are nothing but accessors, and we have three accessors in place, and each accessor is used to get set the values. So I mean it provides a flexibility to access the private fields. So for private fields we had public properties, and these properties are nothing but these are just accessors. So this is about properties. So thanks for watching. Please do subscribe, like, share my videos, stay with me. Thanks for watching.